Brave knights, welcome to Avalon! I am your king, and I will send you on quests to determine which one of you is the traitor. Hi everyone, I am Taylor with another Meeple Madness review, making sure that you get open and honest reviews about board games to see if they're good for you and your family. Today I'm talking about the Resistance Avalon. This is a game for 5 to 10 players and takes about half an hour to play. The object of the game is to win, and you win by successfully completing 3 quests. However, there are a couple of spies and traitors amongst us, so we need to deduce and decide who exactly is a loyal servant of King Arthur and who is an evil minion of Mordred. So let's open up the box and see what's inside Avalon. First off, the artwork on the box is pretty nice. Now, like any game, first thing is the rulebook. Okay, now this rulebook is kind of short. It is only a couple of pages. It has some wonderful information. However, it is kind of wordy. And I don't really like that in a rulebook. I like to have plenty of visual aids to help me along. Now, on the back, it does tell you about some of the additional rules. There are characters built into this game, and each character, when you incorporate into the game, changes the balance. So it clearly tells you what each character does and how it changes that balance. Next, there are boards. Okay, now these boards are double-sided. The artwork on them is really, really good. I am totally impressed with the artwork of this game. It does get you in the spirit of the game. Now, on each of these boards has several different components. One is the quests, quest 1 through 5. The big number indicates how many people go on the quest. Down here is the vote tracker. Whoever's the king of the time will hand out shields, and people get to vote on whether or not the people with the shields are actually going on the quest. If that vote is denied, the tracker ticks down, the king rotates, and the new king picks who's going to go on the quest. If it gets to 5, whammy, the quest is an instant failure. Next, we have a bunch of cards. First off, these are the character cards. Each person will be secretly dealt a character. Blue indicates that you are a loyal servant of King Arthur. And, oh my goodness, there is Merlin. There are some characters in here that are special characters, and Merlin and Percival are 2 of those characters. They have special knowledge about who different people are. Okay, so that would change the balance of the game. Now, if you have darker cards, red cards, then you're an evil minion of Mordred. You want the quest to fail. And there are special characters as well. Now, whoever goes on the quest, they will get 2 of these. Okay, and these are 1 success card and 1 fail card. So you secretly put one of these cards in whether or not you want the quest to succeed or you want the quest to fail. If you are a loyal servant of King Arthur, you always play the success card. But if you're an evil, tricky minion of Mordred, you can play a fail card as well and a success card. It's entirely up to you. Next, let's get to the cardboard components. Okay, now there are a bunch of these guys with purple bags on the back, but on the front side are a proved and reject indicator. Each round, the king will choose who is going on the quest, and everyone gets to vote about whether or not they approve of that decision or they reject that decision. Voting does happen simultaneously, and people know how you vote. So that helps you deduce who is good and who is bad. These are the shields that I was talking about. Each person going on the quest will receive one of these. As far as components go, these cardboard are actually pretty good. The artwork on them are pretty good. And they're supposed to actually look worn. They're supposed to look like this game has been played a lot, even though when it's brand new, it looks like that. Now there's a couple other cardboard pieces, one of which is this guy. This is double-sided, 1 blue and 1 red. These indicate whether or not the quest actually fails or if it succeeds. Also, there's this Lady of the Lake token. This is an optional rule that, to be honest, does not get played very much, simply because it adds a lot of confusion to it, but it does increase the replayability, and besides, that is some great artwork right there. Very beautiful drawing. Okay, so here you can see that I have the game set up for 5 players. That is the least amount of people that you can play with this game. People have been dealt out their character cards. In this game, you have 5 players and 2 minions of Mordred, so I've included the assassin and a generic minion. As far as the good side, we have 2 loyal servants that are generic, and Merlin. So, after everyone gets their cards, they each get 1 approval, 1 reject token, and someone starts off as the king. At the very beginning, you disseminate information, and that's all written down in the rules about how you see that. Basically, the minions of Mordred know each other so that they can coordinate their efforts, and Merlin knows who the 2 bad people are. And these 2 people don't know anything. All they know is that they're a loyal servant. Somehow, Merlin has to tell these 2 people who the 2 minions of Mordred are. The downside is that if he is too obvious, at the end of the game, if the loyal servants win 3 quests, the assassin gets to try to kill Merlin. The assassin will say, I'm going to assassinate player A. Player A turns over his card, he is Merlin. If that happens, the minions of Mordred win. So if you are Merlin, you have to give clues and hints, but you can't be too obvious, or else you're going to cost your side the game. So the king looks at this is quest 1, so they pick 2 people who are going to go on the quest. He picks himself, and since he doesn't know anything else, he's going to pick the assassin here. Now, everyone gets to vote about whether or not they approve of this mission. Everyone approves but 1 person. Now, that person could make up any excuse about why he voted that way, but since it passed, those people now go on the quest. And they are given 2 of these. Now, the 2 people going on the quest are going to decide whether or not they want the quest to succeed or whether or not they want it to fail, and they play their cards face down in 2 different piles. 1 pile going on the quest, 1 pile not going on the quest. So let's say that both people say it succeeded. Okay, then the quest actually passed. You take this token, flip it to blue, and that it was won by the loyal servants of King Arthur. You then go on to quest number 2. The king passes, and that new king decides who's going to go on this quest. And that's basically the game. Alright, so what is good and what is bad about Avalon? Well, let's go down the meeples. First meeple, art. Now the art is spectacular in this game. Everything has such great detail. The player boards have astounding landscapes and pictures on them. The character cards are very detailed. Even the success and the fail cards have great artwork. So I am awarding Avalon the whole art meeple. Next, let's move on to components. Now, as far as actual components go, the cardboard is in great shape and it's going to last you a long time. What I do worry about is the actual player boards themselves. They are kind of flimsy. So if you have toddlers along the house, if you have small kids, they are going to get messed up eventually. And the player cards themselves, they do have a tendency to have whitening around the corners, even though you're not really passing them around a lot. You just shuffle them at the beginning of the game, and it sits in front of you the entire time. But just that shuffling is enough to make the card edges whiten, which is kind of weird. Like, it's okay, it's not a critical thing, but it's one of those little details that I look for in a game. So as far as the component meeple goes, I'm awarding Avalon 3/4 of the meeple. Now let's go to gameplay. This is the biggest thing. Gameplay. Is this fun? Okay, now the actual gameplay is all accusation. Therefore, it is all player driven. If you have a bunch of stone faces that don't like talking, that don't like interacting with each other's players, they're not going to like this game. However, this game is great for those people that love bluffing games, that love player interaction, that love making accusations and using their wits to determine how people are lying to them. Now, the only downside with the actual gameplay is just that element. It is possible for people to get carried away making accusations, and for kings to be indecisive about who's going to go on the quest. If you have 8 different people or 9 different people telling you who should go on the quest, if you're not a very decisive personality, it is going to take you a little bit longer to choose Billy, Tom, and Sally. So as far as gameplay goes, I am awarding Avalon 1 3/4 meeple. So now, the it factor, the everything else meeple, the price, the replayability, okay, that oomph is going to hold up on your shelf. Now let's talk about price. Price is a key factor here. Now, this is a party game. It does stand for 5 to 10 players. So, is it going to be worth that money that you put down? Well, a new game of Avalon will cost $20 or $25, depending on if you get it at your local board game store or if you get it online. Now, for that price, it's a good game. You get more than what you pay for. Which brings us to replayability. Now, each game is going to be different. It has a very high replayability because there is all the optional rules and characters that you can add into the game. Furthermore, each person is not going to get the same character every single time they play it. They can play different characters each round, so that you have high replayability in this game. Next, the it factor. Does it have that oomph? Can it last on your shelf? Yes. This game is played at my game group several times a month, and people have been playing it for years, and they still get a kick out of it. They still light up and they still enjoy the game. So this is a game that is definitely going to hold its own on your game shelf. So with price, replayability, and the it factor, the oomph, I'm awarding the Resistance Avalon the whole meeple. So overall, with art, with components, with gameplay, with replayability, price, and the oomph factor, how does the Resistance Avalon rate? Well, this is a overall great party game. It is very low cost and it can hold a lot of players. Player is simultaneous, it is highly interactive, so you are sure to get a quick enjoyment out of it. Counting up all of the meeples, the Resistance Avalon duly earns 4.5 meeples. This is overall a great game that I'm sure will bring you a lot of joy and happiness if you enjoy heavy player interaction and deciding if somebody's a liar. If you enjoyed that game and that quest, feel free to subscribe and like down below. Go ahead and find more reviews right over there for something that would be great for your game group and for your family. Until next time, I am the fake King Arthur, and I'll see you at the round table.